Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining us today. So we have an important task of moving our pigs today, and there's a couple reasons why we want to move to pigs today, and I'm going to discuss them as we kind of go along. But as you can see right behind me, the ground where they've been for this past winter is pretty chewed up. Now we want to give this topsoil some rest, so what we're going to do is kind of reestablish our paddocks today. In doing so, we're going to separate our boar out of our herd and kind of put him back in his own paddock, at least for a little while, because we have 2 farrowings coming up in April, and I want him as far away from the farrowing stalls and the commotion as possible. We learned our lesson back in November of last year. When Loretta had her farrowing, he came up here, he broke out of the fence and came up here and really stressed her out during the farrowing. I don't want to go through that again, so we're going to separate him and put him into his own paddock. So Gabrielle is gathering a couple more T-posts. I'm going to pound those in real quick. We can put some isolators on those. We're also going from 3 strands to 4 in order to hopefully keep Doc in his paddocks a little bit longer than we did last fall. Undo this, bring it out and over, slip it right through there as you go along. Oh, everybody's wound up over there. We're going to go through and replace all the fiber rods with these black plastic poly rods. I like these a lot more, these stakes, because there's just a lot more options for the height of the poly wire. You only have fixed locations with the fiberglass ones, and there's only a couple locations on those. So we're going to replace those. A couple of them we want to replace with T-posts as well, because I hang the water line that goes down behind me for Doc's water off those T-posts. So we need a couple more of those in order to support the water line. Well, Gabrielle's putting the finishing touches on that fence line. I've gone through and put in all the poly stakes right here. There's nothing left to do here really but run this line. Now, what I'm working on now is a pathway from paddock to paddock. I'm going to have a aisle from this gate to that gate that runs right down through here over to these T-posts that are right over here. So the plan is to build a pathway that we can kind of shuttle Doc through, going back and forth all the way down to this point, and then run a fence line that goes straight down here. Now, a lot of the farming that we've done has been a lot of trial and error. So as you can see, we've had to cut and splice and try and figure out how we want to do this fencing over and over again. Unfortunately, it's made it so we can't save some of this poly wire, but we still have plenty to set up our paddocks today, so that's good.
Sounds wonderful.
Well, Miss Gabrielle is diligently working on spooling up the poly wire still. I'm going to cut right through here in the middle of these paddocks and start trying to get some of these gate handles cut off and some of these poly posts picked up. And then we are officially ready to start running some of this poly wire. Well, I'm running out of insulators slowly but surely because we don't really use a lot of T-posts with the insulators like these ones right here or the black ones. So my stash is getting pretty low. That's all I got left right there. I might have to go to the store and buy some more, but we're at the point now where I think what I want to do is enclose this right here. So we got isolators or insulators all set up on the T-posts. We got all our posts running down here. The pigs in the barn are getting pretty impatient, so Gabrielle stepped out and gone down back to the house for now. I'm going to start running this poly wire and see if I can get everything set up over here first, and then I'm going to move on to this fence line over here, getting this gate put in place as I go. I am not calling the fire department on account of you getting stuck in a tree. Hope you can get down, buddy. So I'm getting ready to do a couple more of these gate handles, and I figured I'd share how we set these up with you. Pretty quick and simple. We just take this 12.5 gauge wire, we wind it around the insulator, make a loop, and then go back around, wind it a couple times. We leave a pigtail coming out, and then we wind that around the poly wire, contacting the metal strands in the poly wire a couple times, and giving this bare wire right here good conductivity, which is hooking it up to this handle right here and bringing the electric right down to the other section. So these have worked out really well for us. They're pretty rugged and stable. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. So it's a good little solution if you got some bare wire hanging around. I tend to not want to grab right a hold of the poly wire because my experience from last year, the tension on these spring-loaded gate handles will actually pull through this over time, especially in really hot weather. Well, this is interesting. The pigs have been unearthing chains and hammers and mallets and all sorts of stuff over here. So apparently they just dug something else up. Looks like a, I don't know, a stone hammer? Mason's hammer or something? I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a hammer like that before. I'm trying to work here. What are you doing? What are you doing? I really want to rub on that much longer. All right, so we cleared out this little spot right here. I just packed it down with the tractor and tried to flatten it out a bit. And brought Doc's little hut down here that he's going to be staying in, so we're going to go ahead and throw some hay in here. Then I have to start running all the poly lines, so we figured out where we wanted to stake everything. got everything in a nice straight line. Down at the other end, we got our little pathway where we're gonna guide him into this paddock. So we're gonna go ahead and run some polyline. But before we do that though, I'm gonna go ahead and get Doc's hut set up. Well guys, it's a couple days since I saw you last when I put down Doc's hut, and it is considerably warmer out. So we're trying to get this pig paddock wrapped up. So Gabrielle is down here putting some T-post clips on the T-posts that we have set up. I've gone around and temporarily put all the poly wire stakes in where we want them. So I'm gonna tie off the poly line. Well, first I'm gonna shut off the fence. I'm gonna tie off the poly line. We're gonna start to run some wire. Planning on doing this in moving paddocks, I would suggest you save aside at least a few hours, because this is time consuming to say the least. Our Doc boar last week was pretty sick. We think he had pneumonia. And it's just one of those cases where it was getting progressively worse. So what we did was we actually gave him penicillin that we had. We gave him 2 days. He's cleared up. I mean, he's acting a lot better, but he still seems to be coughing quite a bit. Miraculously enough, that's the end of this spool. So the length was actually almost perfect. We have all 4 lines set up. Now I have to build our gate down here in Doc's paddock, and then we got to figure out a way to lure him down there. All right, so let's see what we got here. This is a 3-strand gate on the inside of Doc's new pen. So when we open this, we'll step over this, we have an aisleway straight up through here. And over to this paddock. So all we got to do is just basically shuffle them down this pathway, open one gate at a time, and push them from one paddock to the other. So where we're at right now is Doc's giving Loretta some loving. Hopefully he's being a good boy. So where we are at now is all the poly wire and the gates are all up. Doc's hut is in place. I need to get him some hay, some bedding. He doesn't need it right now as for heat, but he does need it for something soft to lay on. I just feel like it's the right thing to do. And I got to clean up all my mess that you see right behind me, and then we can move Doc. You want to say hi? You do? Where's your brother? I was kind of wondering what they would do if they came nose to nose. Well, I decided, I was up here at the barn doing some work on our fruit trees, and I decided to move Doc. I didn't capture it on camera, but he's actually really easy to move. You just can't get in the pen with him, or at least I don't want to. I've kind of learned my lesson. But what we did was I put food down in the barn, and I kind of used his bad attitude to my advantage, because whenever there's food on the ground, he'll push the girls out of the way. So I put food down in the barn. Girls went over to get it. He pushed them out of the way. So I came outside, opened this gate right here, gave them food on the other side of the gate. Of course, he came down, pushed them out of the way. They went back up to the barn. I closed the gate behind him. And then once he was done with that food, I lured him all the way down into this pen. So he actually walked right through here. Like I said, he's easy to move. It's just you can't get inside with him, or at least I don't want to at this point. But he's down in here. He's checking out his new digs. We got his hut set up. We got hay in the hut right now. Last thing I have to do for him is actually to get his food system and the water hooked up. Now I am going to be doing something a bit different for him this year than I did last year. Last year we struggled with a 55-gallon barrel. He kept picking that up and rolling it down the hill and emptying it. We were wasting a lot of water. So a buddy of mine have been brainstorming on a pig watering system that somebody like Doc, a pig like Doc, cannot flip over. He cannot mess with the barrel. He cannot mess with the nipples. He cannot mess with anything. He can't flip this thing over. He can't roll it down a hill. So I think we came up with a really great idea, and I've kind of added on to that where it can be its own rain collection system. It has its own frost protection to it. It's got a bunch of bells and whistles that if you have pigs, I think somebody would be interested in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. You're definitely wanting to see that. And if you like today's video, make sure you hit the like button for us. It does help us out a lot. Until next time, I hope you have a great day.